Welcome to MetalGodsTV with Mick The Beard.
I'm Hell, and I'm with
Mark Sutcliffe from Trespass.
Nice one. And you guys playing later on tonight?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. sort of 2ish. I think we're on.
Nice.
Really looking forward to it because we reformed last year, and I suppose this is our first. We did Brofest earlier in the year, and that was really good fun and really successful. And of course, when you've been off the scene for such a long time, I mean, it's 35 years since we really did anything as Trespass. It's so great to come back and have all our merch go flying out and go down so well. It was really exciting. And then since then, we've changed the lineup a little, but we've been recording some new material, and it's just really exciting. And we've got this opportunity to play here with the kind of guys that are headlining here. It just lifts the whole thing up to another level, you know. So we're out to get some exposure, show that we're still alive, despite the grey beards. I should do what you've done.
Yeah.
Just really exciting, really, and looking forward to playing. Relatively short set, but we were hitting with our best stuff. Yeah. And two of our newer songs as well.
Nice. How's the new stuff been received?
Not that many people have heard it yet. I mean, we really like it, obviously, and it's quite interesting when you've, what we actually did was we re-recorded some of the older stuff from the 80s, because of course we made our first recordings in late '79, and but for one reason or another, we never managed to land an album deal, so we never actually got to make that album. So we kind of set out to make the album that perhaps we would have made had we had the opportunity. So we did that with perhaps a slightly more modern sound, and that's given us a nice bridge onto the new material. Yeah. But it's still, I mean, Trespass always were. I mean, on the main writer, but it's melodic stuff. It's powerful, but the melody is very important to us. Yeah. And it's interesting having seen things develop since the 80s, and because the guys from Metallica, Lars and James Hetfield, were in our fan club back in 1980. I've still got their letters that they wrote to us, you know. But we were lucky enough to meet them recently at Download, and James was really friendly. So I'm really hoping if we could raise our profile high enough, perhaps they'll say, "Hey guys, you know, you've done a lot for yourselves. We'll help you out a bit." Yeah, but you never know. You never know.
You did it with Diamond Head.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Cover one of your songs.
I think it's very important. Exactly. When James said to me that one of these days, which is probably our best known song, was shortlisted for Garage Inc., but they decided at the end they weren't going to do it. But anyway. Yeah. But no, we're really enjoying it, and you know, it's a little bit different when you're a little bit older, but it's still really good fun, and I just can't wait to get out there and play, basically. And
I suppose, like you say, you wrote some of the stuff years ago, and you made it more modern. I suppose it's the different techniques now that you've got to use and to make the different sounds.
Very much so, because obviously it's all digital now for a start. I mean, and our first stuff was all on vinyl. Yeah. Although vinyl's obviously making a bit of a comeback, especially for rock stuff, because it's a more positive signal and everything.
Recording on 4 tracks and stuff like that.
Exactly, and perhaps having to be a little bit more creative because of it. And now it's all digital, and you can put things right and stuff like that. But what I was pleased with the recording, we went in, we hadn't got a lot of time, and we just played. And I must admit, I was wondering, will we be able to capture the energy that we had once before? And it did turn out really well. So, and we've got a new website, trespassband.com, so we're selling the album through that mostly. It's available on iTunes for download as well. But they're just new versions of songs, but brought together with the same. Because when you record an album, you've got a nice consistent sound across the whole album. Yeah. We never really had that, because we record here, do a single, record there, do another single, and so when we put our recordings together, they don't really sit together too well. And changing lineups, of course, as well. So yeah, it's as long as you can actually play, then recording's not that much different. But it's when people try to repair things afterwards, which luckily we didn't have to do very much. So.
And have you got any other dates after this year, or is it break to Christmas?
probably a break till Christmas now, and we're looking for more festival dates next year, and some stuff in Europe I expect. But I mean, the album's going out all over the world: Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the US. It's amazing how these Trespass fans dotted around the world, you know, and it's just good fun, really. It's just lovely. It's brilliant that, and I think this is the, for me, this is what it's, you know, because I've done all sorts of different things in the meantime. It's the music. That's what this is actually all about, and it's one of the reasons why bands, even though they are in their 60s, like UFO, it's the music. People want the music, and it keeps the bands alive. It's not the bands keeping the music alive, it's the fans keeping the music alive. Yeah. And that's really important. So, and the song power is, you know, it's great. And when we play one of these days in Stormchild, which are our two main tracks, I suppose, it's still got something, you know. Yeah. Otherwise I wouldn't, you know.
Well, there seems to be a resurgence. People are looking for a lot of the old style metal now. I think they're going back to clean vocals and, you know what I mean? They sort of seem to want that now.
Yeah. There's one of my own sort of a big influence on me. It was Richard Blackmore and Purple and Rainbow and all the rest of it. And that kind of, especially Rising and those albums, that kind of rock that's got, I don't know. It sounds a bit pompous, but there's a bit of majesty about it. It's something. It's an actual genre. It's an art form in its own right. And I think maybe what happened to a certain extent with metal was the actual slice that some of the newer bands took through that was just like a particular slice of what they did, and they expanded on that. Yeah. And maybe it left out some of the music and the kind of imagery, and you know, Dio was such a fantastic guy, and what he was able to bring to those songs. And I think the whole link with sci-fi and fantasy and through metal, and how people see that kind of music and an escape. And we were, in a way, we had a kind of a bit of a crossover between that and punk in '79. A lot of bands did, even Maiden and people like that, where they'd come from as players. Yeah. And I think we've still got a little bit of that in our music now, even though I try to distance myself from it. But
and how are you enjoying the festivals? Because, like you say, 30 years ago, there weren't festivals like this then. You just got maybe Monsters of Rock, and that was about it.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's so great. So many kindred spirits and people who think the way you do. Yeah. And yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow when I can sort of have a bit of a mingle with people and have a chat. You know. So you know, it's just all about the guys. Unfortunately, who are in the van are lost somewhere in the mountains. But hopefully they will be here at some point. I hope so, because they've got my equipment, but luckily I have got my guitar with me, so if I have to do an acoustic set by myself, I will.
Well, they've got till tomorrow to get here, haven't they?
Yeah,
so
exactly. They've probably gone down the pub.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank
nice
you,
talking to you.
And you.
May God have mercy on your soul.